The promotion didn't take his weekend all at once. That would have been too obvious. It started with 1 hour, then one message, then one document someone needed before Monday. On the calendar, Saturday still looked empty. In real life, it already had a mark on it. His boss called it a promotion, and honestly, it was. New title, more money, a few congratulations, a badge that still felt light in his hand. Everything about it said, "You made it." And to be clear, he had. This wasn't fake. He wasn't stupid. The company wasn't evil. Promotions can be good. But some promotions come with two price tags. One is written where everyone can see it. The other starts showing up where people usually don't look, in the calendar, in the evenings, in the little spaces that used to be clean. That's where this one started. And if you froze the story right there, it would still look like a good one. A capable person gets trusted with more. Everyone nods. The number goes up. The door looks open. You only notice the lock later, not with a threat, but with trust. Our worker had done the normal things right. He answered the hard questions. He stayed calm when projects got messy. He noticed problems early, before they turned into meetings about problems. He was useful in the quiet way companies love. Not loud, not political, not the person trying to turn every small win into a post about leadership. Just useful. If something was unclear, he could make it clear. If a decision was stuck, he could move it forward. If the team was panicking, he could make the room feel a little less stupid. So, when his manager said, "We want you to take on more," it didn't feel like a warning. It felt like proof. Proof that the late nights had counted. Proof that the extra effort had been seen. Proof that he wasn't just another name in another inbox. And that's the part that matters. The trap doesn't work because the reward is fake. It works because the reward is real. The title changed, the salary changed, the chair got bigger, the meetings got smaller. Suddenly, he was in rooms where people spoke more quietly because the decisions were bigger. His calendar had fewer random meetings, but the meetings that stayed had more weight. For a few days, the whole thing felt clean. That's the first trick. The first step doesn't feel like losing freedom. It feels like becoming necessary, and becoming necessary feels good. It feels like the opposite of being trapped. It feels like being trusted with the key. Then came the first small trade. Nothing dramatic, nothing a normal person would reject. One extra meeting because now he needed context. One late decision because the team was waiting. One weekend message because Monday would be too late. One quick look because it would only take a minute. And the annoying thing is, each request made sense by itself. If someone had asked for his whole Saturday, he would have noticed. If someone had said, "This new title means your phone belongs to us now," he would have laughed. But nobody said that. They said, "Can you just check this? Can you weigh in quickly? Can you confirm before Monday? Can you take a look when you get a second?" And that's how it worked. The promotion didn't buy his weekend with one big demand. It bought it one polite request at a time. The first Saturday was almost invisible. He opened the laptop after breakfast. Not in a dramatic way. No sad music, no dark room, just a table, a coffee cup, and the quiet little lie that this didn't really count. He checked one thing, answered one message, fixed one problem that would have been worse on Monday. Then he closed the laptop. Technically, he was done. By lunch, he could still say he hadn't really worked. And maybe that was true, if work only means hours. But the room had changed. The laptop had been on the table. The phone had been face up. The weekend door was still open, but not as wide. The line had moved, only a little, but it had moved. You know that feeling. The day is still yours, technically. No meeting is happening, no one is yelling. But some part of your mind is standing near the door, waiting to see if work walks in again. That's the part people miss. Work doesn't need a whole day to take the shape of a day. Sometimes it only needs to enter the room. Before the promotion, the job had hours. After the promotion, the job had gravity. It pulled on him in the morning. It pulled on him at night. It pulled on him while he was sitting with people who didn't work there. And the phone was no longer just a phone, it was a small door the office could open from the inside. The door wasn't angry, it wasn't dramatic, it was reasonable. That's important. The company didn't need a villain speech. From the company's side, the logic was simple. If one person solves problems quickly, include that person in more problems. If one person can decide, send more decisions through him. If one person keeps saying yes, hand him more things to carry. That's not evil. That's how a lot of work gets organized. Find the person who can handle it. Then, give them more to handle. And if they keep handling it, the system learns where the path is smooth. It learns who replies. It learns who doesn't make a scene. It learns which door opens. That can make the company move faster. Sometimes it does. But what makes the company move faster can make the person inside it less free. Now, the raise had a problem. The salary number went up, but the real cost went up too. That's the part the contract doesn't show. Imagine the pay rises 20%. On paper, that looks clean. 20% more money. But if the job quietly takes more evenings, more time to recover, more weekend attention, and more decisions that follow him home, the math changes. The paycheck gets bigger. The life around it gets smaller. You don't need a chart to understand that. You've probably seen the shape of it. The message that arrives after dinner, the quick Sunday check that doesn't really count, the meeting that ends but stays in your head, the title that makes every small request sound normal. It's not that everyone lives the same week. Some jobs are cleaner than this. Some managers protect the line. Some promotions actually come with more money, more control, and more help. Those are real too. But this trap is easy to miss because it doesn't arrive as one big bad deal. It arrives in small pieces, and each piece has manners. Work has many ways to leave the office without looking like it left the office. A meeting can follow you home. A message can enter your weekend. A title can make an interruption feel earned. And once the title changes, the same sentence changes too. Before the promotion, "Can you take a look?" is a favor. After the promotion, "Can you take a look?" is the role. Before the promotion, missing a late message is normal. After the promotion, missing it feels like dropping something. This is where the job stops buying hours and starts buying the right to reach him. Not the right to own every minute. That's too obvious. The right to interrupt. The right to pull him back for a second. The right to make him check. The right to make him wonder if he should check. And that last one is the expensive part. Because now, even silence can do work. No message has to arrive. No call has to come in. The possibility is enough. It's not the meeting from 3 to 4. It's checking the phone at 2:47 because something might have happened. It's Friday night with a small office light under the door. It's an empty calendar with his attention already half reserved. That's what the promotion bought. Not just better work. Not just more skill. Not just leadership. It bought the right to interrupt. And the worker helped it happen. Not because he was weak, because the trade kept paying him in things that are hard to refuse. Money, trust, status, access, identity. The new title didn't only change how other people saw him. It changed which version of himself he was allowed to be. He was the person who handled things now. The person who stayed calm. The person who didn't let the ball hit the floor. The person people could count on when the normal process was too slow. And that person is hard to put down. Because once people see you that way, you start seeing yourself that way too. So when he thought about stepping back, it didn't feel like protecting a weekend. It felt like becoming smaller. It felt like being less serious, less trusted, less important. And that is the second half of the trap. First, the promotion buys the calendar. Then, it buys the person who would ask for the calendar back. By the third month, the congratulations were gone. The title remained. The salary remained. But the role had a new normal. Evenings were overflow. Weekends were backup space. The chair looked less like a reward and more like a place he was expected to stay. The phone was a door. The calendar was a receipt. And the badge that once felt light had started to pull. This is the salary trap. Not that earning more is bad. Not that wanting more is foolish. Not that every promotion is a trick. The trap is when the reward is visible, but the price is spread out. The title is visible. The salary is visible. The congratulations are visible. But the lost attention arrives in pieces. The lost weekend arrives as one reasonable exception, then another, then another. The lost control hides inside clean words like ownership, trust, and being needed. And that's why the trap works. It doesn't ask for your life, it asks for 10 minutes. Then it asks again with better manners. It doesn't look like a bad deal from the outside. That's what makes it so clean. On paper, he moved up. In practice, the exit moved farther away. And the strangest part is that the promotion still wasn't fake. The money was real. The title was real. The trust was real. The better chair was real. That is what made it work. If the whole thing had been a lie, it would have been easier to see. But it wasn't a lie, it was a trade. And the trade kept looking good because the payment was split into pieces small enough to ignore. By the time the pieces added up, there was no single moment to point at, no dramatic theft, no obvious mistake. Just a series of tiny yeses that turned a clean weekend into a place where work was allowed to wait. 1 hour, one message, one document before Monday. One Saturday morning that still looked empty on the calendar. A good promotion gives you more responsibility and more control. A salary trap promotion gives you more money while quietly buying the right to reach you. That's the difference. Not whether the title is real, not whether the raise is real. Whether the life around it gets bigger too. His didn't. His paycheck got bigger. His room got smaller. And by the time he saw the receipt, the promotion still looked like success. That was the final trick. The price wasn't written next to the salary. It was written across Saturday morning.